Howdy. Just wanted to make a quick video here of my 2000 Excursion 4x4 diesel 7.3 cab bushing job that I did on the ground in the garage. Mostly common hand tools, nothing crazy extravagant. Some floor jacks, bottle jacks, little blood, little cussing, all that good stuff. It is a big job, I will tell you that for sure. I had some creaking and popping going on below my passenger floorboard that's been doing that for about 10 years. Wasn't real sure, thought it might be like a leaf spring shackle bushing or something like that. Turned out, thank goodness for me, it was the cab bushing, and the job has silenced all of that. The truck is amazingly quieter now. The cab bushings are definitely a big part of that, I would think, because we are more isolated. The body, if you will, is more isolated from the frame and all the vibration from the engine. We had a bunch of creaking and popping noises going on down here below the passenger floorboard, just pulling in a driveway or just turning the steering wheel, sitting in a parking lot or anything like that. Just sound like somebody's down there with a hammer just beating on the floor. And got some video footage of that bushing that was just completely collapsed and doing a lot of metal on metal rubbing. This is a 2000, I think I mentioned earlier, 173,000 miles and change, baby truck. Been a South Texas truck its whole life. Shouldn't have any significant rusting issues and all that kind of stuff, but there definitely is some rusting going on with these bushings. This is a 7.3, using the S&B silicone body bushing kit. The part number is at 81-1007. And from what I know, that's the 2000 to 2003 7.3s, and then the 03 was a mid-year split with the diesels for a 7.3 and a 6-liter. And I believe the 6-liter is a different part number. I think the core support bushing is different. I don't know if it's bigger or smaller or taller, I'm not really sure, but I guess the core support's a little bit different on the 6-liter. So anyway, totally glad that I did the job myself. Wanted to be able to say that I was able to do it myself. It did take me quite a while to do it, probably about 2 months off and on, messing with it evenings, weekends, after work, things like that. Didn't really have a urgent, pressing need for the vehicle. It's an extra vehicle for us. Took my time, did a lot of touch-up painting of surface rust and little things like that. No cancer, nothing like that I found, but just wanted to make sure that it was done right. We did pull the carpet out completely. I would suggest, if you're going to tackle this job, just rip the carpet out completely. You know, some of these older trucks, I mean, they're 24 years old now. The carpet might just need to be replaced. My carpet was in really good shape. I did have some stains that I tried to address and didn't really get very far on those. I considered dyeing my carpet black while I had it out. I did not do that, and in hindsight, I kind of wish I had. Some of the reading that I did said the stain may not take for the, I think it's a rayon product carpet, I'm not real sure. But anyway, maybe another day, we'll see. But all the seats, console, all the seat brackets, seat belt bases and stuff for the middle seat, third seat, of course, spare tire, all that stuff was out of the truck completely. I've got some videos and pictures of that as well. My suggestion to you would just be get all of that completely out of the truck, out of the way. Consider replacing your carpet. I washed mine quite thoroughly, real lightly with a pressure washer while we had it out. And we also went back with Amazon version of that Dynamat product, like Killmat, I think is what it's called. It's significantly cheaper. I'm sure the Dynamat's a great product, but that stuff is crazy expensive, and this is a giant vehicle, as you all know. So anyway, here we go. This is going to be some long videos, a lot of detailed information. I hope this helps someone. Sorry if it gets a little long-winded, but like I said, this was a big job. Excursions are 12 bushings, 6 per side. I had no idea it was that many till I got the box and opened the box. I thought it was 10 from everything I had read. Trucks, I think, are 6 total, or is it 8 total? I think it's 8 total. I have a 250 crew cab over there as well. I'd have to get under there and count them. So anyway, 12 bushings, and it's a big job, but totally doable on the floor. If you had a lift, that would help tremendously. But I did it with just a bottle jack and learned some steps along the way that'll hopefully help you out. Like one of the shortcuts that'll hopefully help, I found kind of a sweet spot, if you will, on the passenger side. That was my second side to go down. And I was able to put the bottle jack in one position, lift the entire passenger side of the vehicle off the frame to get all the upper bushing halves out with one lift. So that's, for me, the way my jack was set up on bricks. It was a 20-minute process to demob the jack off the bricks and move the bricks and put the jack back in and all that kind of stuff. It was quite long and drawn out. So good luck. Here we go with the videos. Wanted to show some height differences in the factory bushing versus the aftermarket S&B, just for curiosity's sake. So this is the upper bushing. This is the one underneath the driver's feet, and about 2 9/16 ish. And then the aftermarket. Now granted, these are supposed to squish down somewhat. I don't know exactly how much that's supposed to be. And it's about 2 11/16. And then overall height, I don't even know if I can put this one back together. It's so rusted. It's gonna be difficult. I think that's about together where it was. And then this, and this one's kind of distorted a bit. 3 1/8 maybe. And then three and 9/16, 3 5/8, 3 5/8. And I was also curious to show this view here. How messed up these things are. This is a South Texas truck, has been its whole life. It's been to snow country a couple times. Washed it immensely on the way after we got home, but there's still quite a bit of rust that was. This is the lower half of the bushing here. This piece is that comes down, that's below the ear where it sits on the frame. And that's the upper piece between the ear where the frame is and the body. But they took some convincing to get off of there. So this is the driver's side mount underneath the front floorboard under the driver's, like where the pedals would be. And wasn't too pleasant getting it out of there, but it wasn't horrible once I finally figured out a game plan. I've got 20-something inches of bricks up, 20-ton bottle jack, and doing this on the ground in my garage, it would be a lot easier with a lift. I actually took the running board off thinking that I could pick up on the pinch weld, or not pinch weld, like where it's doubled up. Yeah, it is pinch welded, spot welded, like we do on a foreign car, but it started to bend. Body's pretty heavy on these things, obviously. I did touch up just some minor surface rust with primer there, and then some rust reformer black primer kind of stuff, Rust-Oleum stuff on the mount. I couldn't see up in there, but didn't know what would be up in there. Probably going to get rubbed off by the bushing. There's a little bit of movement in there, I'm sure. We're going to try to go back together with this driver's front. It's like the second position back bushing. I actually have to pick the truck up off the frame just a little bit more because it's that factory bushing was smashed down quite a bit. And then this tab right here, assuming that's visible in the shot, yeah, it should be, is going to keep us from sliding in backwards. So we're actually going to have to come around the front side of this ear and sneak it in from the front. We do need more height. Her primer job is nice and dry, and these do have a oval shaped index, if you will, but it is going into a round hole, so I'm not too sure exactly how that's gonna affect it, but we'll find out. This is the first bushing that I'm replacing. Almost sneak it in this side, but I don't think so. I'm gonna have to come around here. So then this piece is gonna go on the bottom here. So that's it, all in place there. That's a better shot, I guess. Now I'll put the bolt in from the top when I lower the truck back down onto the bushing. Probably drop the bolt in at least before I put the weight of the truck on it, I would think. I don't know if this is the number 3 back, if you will, kind of just behind the B pillar on the driver's side. And I don't think we've got enough height to sneak that out of there. You've got to come up with the bushing and it's going to hit the body. And then you have all of this hex-headed shanked area that's got to go up and get out of there. Yeah, see, we're not going to have enough height to get out of there, so the body's going to have to go a little more. But currently I've got my jack situation up here, so I'm going to lower this one back down, get the bolt in it, make sure it's all centered and set up where it needs to be, and then set the weight of the truck on it. Probably going to check the front core support one too. That one's going to be interesting. The manufacturer says to pull the front bumper, and that is going to be a job on this particular truck. Got a full replacement up there. Not looking forward to that if I have to. I've got another option to maybe sneak it in somewhere else that we're going to try. All right, driver's side towards the rear, maybe some kind of access panel to get to the cab bushing that I didn't know was there. There's the bushing. Okay. Then I'm an update. So that's behind the B pillar, passenger compartment, if you will. That one's in. That's the one under the driver's feet. The one, the core support is the furthest forward one. It's in. There's one up here. It's not out yet, but I feel I'm on the home stretch for that one. It's loose. The bolt is out. The lower is loose from the upper. That one is at least accessible. Unbeknownst to me, there's a bushing here. This is rear leaf spring hanger. This is behind the fuel tank, which I had to remove. You can see the one on the passenger side, right there. Back behind the shock, totally inaccessible. And of course, I tried to loosen this one from the top, and the backup, if you will, I'll show a little picture of that here in a minute, spun, and there was no way in the planet to get anything in there to hold back up. That's all the pieces of the bushing, and I had to cut apart in pieces so that I was able to, it looks similar to this, it's a little bit bigger, cut all of this out of the way so that I could get a wrench on this. It was a 1-inch wrench on this to hold back up, and then put the breaker bar and stuff on it up top to finally get that one off. Ridiculous. And there's still one back here, but it's loose and apart already. So next step is to jack the body up and free the upper piece on this one, that one, and hopefully the one that's by the C pillar, if you will, behind the rear door. Hopefully be able to get all three of those with one lift, I'm hoping. So I'm having to utilize some redneck engineering here to jack the body up off the frame. It is not pleasant. So this was that latest battle with absolutely zero access. So this is factory stuff, and the way this goes together, this is hex-ish, if you will. Turn this off, this will be better. There we go. This is a hex piece, and this is hexed. So this goes in here, and then this is frame is here. The frame tab is up underneath this, and then this is body sitting on here. And then the cab bolt comes through from the cab and is threaded down into the threads of that lower piece. There's no threads in this. It's too big. Bolt fits in there, plenty of slack. The only threads are the bolts into the lower. So when you're loosening this from inside the cab, if this starts to turn, there goes your backup. There is none. And the only thing that holds this from spinning with backup is this hexed shank in this rubber bushing. This is all rubber. Dried and hard rubber, but rubber. This is steel here, and then a rubber piece all around here. So this blows out and the whole thing's spinning, you have no way to hold back up, especially with little minor things like the 44-gallon fuel tank in the way. My Lanta. So like I mentioned, a very large job. All of the seats are out, the console out, carpet is not pulled, but it's pulled loose so that you can get to those bolts that are up under places like up under there, the driver's floorboard. There's one underneath the carpet here. This is the rearmost. The bolt in the lower is out there. And this is the one that's above the fuel tank. That is been such. This has been a probably an extra 4 hours to get to this point that I planned on, at least 3, because of having to pull the fuel tank, and then of course the backup. There's a ginormous fuel tank there, and I'm going to do some work on that while it's out. Once the fuel tank is out, no issues with room. There's my wrench that was holding the backup on that upper bushing piece. So there's what's left of the bushing, and then this was spinning in that the rubber. So it's metal and then rubber like to isolate it, I guess, and this whole thing is turning. Not pleasant. Here's the passenger side, undisturbed. A little PV blaster on there. Hopefully that's going to help. That Ford Loctite is something else. That's what I've read binds you up, and I would agree. Now there was some little access door thing here. That got me absolutely nowhere. That's right, just rear of the rear shock. So I'll just be putting that back on. Just a little 1-bolt thing. I don't really know why they would put that there. That's not big enough to get any access in there to do what you need to do. There's just no way. So basically, you got to pull the fuel tank. I mean, there's no other way. If you were doing this with a lift and you could lift the body, 6 feet in the air, maybe you could come in, once the body's out there, you could come in from the top with the fuel tank in place, I would assume. And that's given that your backup doesn't start spinning. Because if the backup starts spinning, all you do is drill or cut the head of the bolt off in order to lift the body up, and then get the body 6 feet in the air, which means coolant, refrigerant, trans lines, I think, shifter cable, and all kinds of extra body plug, electrical stuff. And that's on the 7.3. 6 leakers, I think, are even worse. So, yeah, fuel tank coming out is the least invasive option, at least for me doing it on the ground at this point.
Here, right now.
That's 3. 4. 5. This one doesn't have the bottom, it's not even visible, but just want to make sure that top piece is on that washer. 6. Another problem. This is behind the C-pillar right in front of the rear tire. Can't get this in there without picking the top half of the bushing back up and out of the frame, which requires the body to be lifted. And even then, getting it in this angle of the frame is going to be tight. Alright, so I had to take that upper half completely out. And I get this one in there, and now I've got to be able, and that gets that bolt part up inside there. Now I've got to see if we can get the top piece in out separately. Okay, so that went in there. Had to put the bottom half in first, then the top had to have probably ½ inch extra room to get the bolt part where the threads are up inside the hex part of the top piece. So there's still over an inch of room up there right now. And then there's this piece here. What's the difference? I understand it. Close to about 1 7/8 inches. Do the same thing on that side. Something I was already noticing here. This was pretty squared away and level before. To the bottom of the tin fender flare thing, maybe 7/8 of an inch. And again, this thing was very level before. And 7/16, 3/8 of an inch. On the passenger side that I haven't touched yet. Not too sure how to measure this exactly, but let's say to the bottom of the body, about 1 7/16, 1 3/8 maybe. This side is 1 1/8.